Milinda was the king in the city of Sagala. He was learned in the arts and sciences and was of an inquiring disposition. He was skilled in debating, and no one could resolve his doubts about religious matters. Though he questioned all the famous teachers, none could satisfy him. King asked, "Is there then, my good men, any other learned sage who is able to discuss things with me and dispel my doubts?" Then the minister Devamantiya said, "There is, great king, an elder named Nagasena, monk, who is learned, of subdued manners yet full of courage. He is capable of discussing with you. He is now staying at this Saukaya hermitage. You should go and put your questions to him." At the mere mention of the name Nagasena, the king became alarmed and the hairs of his body stood on end. Then the king sent a messenger to say that he was coming. Attended on by the 500 Bactrian Greeks, the king mounted his royal chariot and went to the place where Nagasena was staying. King Milinda went up to Nagasena, exchanged polite and friendly greetings, and took his seat respectfully to one side. Then Milinda began by asking, "How is your reverence known? And what, sir, is your name?" "King, I am known as Nagasena, but that is only a designation in common use, for no permanent individual can be found." Then Milinda called upon the Bactrian Greeks and the monks to bear witness. "This Nagasena says that no permanent individual is implied in his name. Is it possible to approve of that?" Then he turned to Nagasena and said, "If, most venerable Nagasena, that is true, who is it who gives you robes, food, and shelter? Who lives the righteous life? Or again, who kills living beings, steals, commits adultery, tells lies, or takes strong drink? If what you say is true, then there is neither merit nor demerit, nor is there any doer of good or evil deeds, and no result of kama. If, venerable sir, a man were to kill you, there would be no murder, and it follows that there are no masters or teachers in your order. You say that you are called Nagasena. Now what is that, Nagasena? Is it the hair?" "I don't say that, great king." "Is it then the nails, teeth, skin, or other parts of the body?" "Certainly not. Or is it the body, or feelings, or perceptions, or formations, or consciousness?" 10. Is it all of these combined, or is it something outside of them that is Nagasena? Still Nagasena answered, "It is none of these." "Then ask as I may. I can discover no Nagasena. Nagasena is an empty sound. Who is it we see before us? It is a falsehood that your reverence has spoken. You, sir, have been reared in great luxury, as becomes your noble birth. How did you come here, by foot or in a chariot?" "In a chariot, venerable sir." "Then explain, sir, what that is. Is it the axle, or the wheels, or the chassis, or reins, or yoke, that is the chariot? Is it all of these combined, or is it something apart from them?" "It is none of these things, venerable sir." "Then, sir, this chariot is an empty sound. You spoke falsely when you said that you came here in a chariot. You are a great king of India. Who are you afraid of that you don't speak the truth?" Then he called upon the Bactrian Greeks and the monks to bear witness. "This King Milinda has said that he came here in a chariot, but when asked what it is, he is unable to show it. Is it possible to approve of that?" Then the 500 Bactrian Greeks shouted their approval and said to the king, "Get out of that if you can." "Venerable sir, I have spoken the truth. It is because it has all these parts that it comes under the term chariot." "Very good, sir. Your majesty has rightly grasped the meaning. Even so, it is because of the 32 kinds of organic matter in a human body and the 5 aggregates of being that I come under the term Nagasena. As it was said by Sister Vajra in the presence of the Blessed One, just as it is by the existence of the various parts that the word chariot is used, just so is it that when the aggregates of being are there, we talk of a being. Most wonderful Nagasena, most extraordinary that you have solved this puzzle, difficult though it was. If the Buddha himself were here, he would approve of your reply." King Milinda went up to Nagasena, exchanged polite and friendly greetings, and took his seat respectfully to one side. Then Milinda began by asking, "How many reigns do you have, Nagasena?" "7, Your Majesty." "How can you say it is your 7? Is it you who are 7 or the number that is 7? Then Nagasena said, "Your shadow is now on the ground. Are you the king, or is the shadow the king?" "I am the king, Nagasena, but the shadow comes into being because of me." "Just so, O king. The number of the years is 7. I am, not 7. But it is because of me that the number 7 comes into being, and it is mine in the same sense as the shadow is yours." "Most wonderful, Nagasena, and extraordinary. Well, has this puzzle been solved by you, difficult as it was?" Then the king said, "Venerable sir, will you discuss with me again? If your majesty will discuss as a scholar, yes. But if you will discuss as a king, no. How is it then that scholars discuss? When scholars discuss, there is a summing up and an unraveling. One or other is shown to be in error. He admits his mistake, yet he does not become angry. Then how is it that kings discuss? When a king discusses a matter and advances a point of view, if anyone differs from him on that point, he is apt to punish him. Very well then, it is as a scholar that I will discuss. Let your reverence talk without fear." "It is well, Your Majesty." "Nagasena, I will ask a question," said the king. "Ask it, sir." "I have asked it, Your Reverence." "Then I have answered." "What have you answered?" "What have you asked?" Thinking, "This monk is a great scholar. He is quite able to discuss things with me." The king instructed his minister, Devamantiya, to invite him to the palace with a large company of monks, and went away muttering, "Nagasena, Nagasena." So Devamantiya, Anantakaya, and Mankura went to Nagasena's hermitage to accompany the monks to the palace. As they were walking along together, Anantakaya said to Nagasena, "When, Your Reverence, I say, Nagasena." "What is that, Nagasena?" "What do you think that Nagasena is?" "The soul, the inner breath, which comes and goes." "But if that breath, having gone out, should not return, would that man still be alive?" "Certainly not." "And when those trumpeters and the like have blown their trumpets, does their breath return to them?" "No, venerable sir, it doesn't." "Then why don't they die?" "I am not capable of arguing with you, sir. Pray tell me how it is." "There is no soul in the breath. These inhalations and exhalations are merely constituent powers of the bodily frame." Then the elder talked to him on the Abhidhamma, and Anantakaya was satisfied with his explanation. Then, after the monks had arrived at the palace and finished their meal, the king sat down on a low seat and asked, "What shall we discuss?" "Let our discussion be about the Dhamma." Then the king said, "What is the purpose, your reverence, of your going forth, and what is the final goal at which you aim?" "Our going forth is for the purpose that this suffering may be extinguished, and that no further suffering may arise. The complete extinction of grasping without remainder is our final goal." "Is it, venerable sir, for such noble reasons that everyone joins the order?" "No. Some enter to escape the tyranny of kings, some to be safe from robbers, some to escape from debt, and some perhaps to gain a livelihood. However, those who enter rightly do so for the complete extinction of grasping." The king said, "Is there anyone who is not reborn after death?" "Yes, there is. The one who has no defilements is not reborn after death. The one who has defilements is reborn." "Will you be reborn?" "If I die with attachment in my mind, yes. But if not, no." "Does one who escapes from rebirth do so by the power of reasoning?" "He escapes both by reasoning and by wisdom, confidence, virtue, mindfulness, energy, and concentration." "Is reasoning the same as wisdom?" "No. Animals have reasoning, but they do not have wisdom." "What, Nagasena, is the characteristic mark of reasoning, and what the mark of wisdom?" "Taking hold is the mark of reasoning. cutting off is the mark of wisdom. Give me an illustration. How do barley reapers reap the barley? They grasp the barley into a bunch with the left hand, and with a sickle in the right hand, they cut the barley. Just so, O king, the recluse takes hold of his mind with reasoning and cuts of the defilements with wisdom. What, Nagasena, is the characteristic mark of virtue? Supporting, O king, for it is the basis of all good qualities. The 5 controlling faculties, confidence, energy, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom, and the 5 moral powers, the 7 factors of enlightenment, mindfulness, investigation, energy, joy, tranquility, concentration, and equanimity. The 8 factors of the noble path, right view, thought, speech, action, livelihood, effort, mindfulness, and concentration. The 4 foundations of mindfulness, mindfulness of the body, feelings, thoughts, and mind objects. The 4 right efforts, effort to prevent and remove unwholesome states and to develop and maintain wholesome states. The 4 bases of success, eagerness, energy, tenacity, wisdom. The 4 absorptions, 4 stages of one-pointedness, or jhana. The 8 freedoms, 8 stages of release of the mind by intense concentration. The 4 modes of concentration, meditations on love, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. And the 8 great attainments. Each of these has virtue as its support, and in him who builds on it as the foundation, all these good conditions will not decrease. Give me an illustration. Just, O king, as all forms of animal and plant life flourish with the earth as their support, so does the recluse, with virtue as the support, develop the 5 controlling faculties, and so on. And this was said by the Blessed One. When a wise man, established well in virtue, develops concentration and understanding, then as a bhikkhu, ardent and sagacious, he succeeds in disentangling this tangle. What is the characteristic mark of confidence? Clarification and inspiration. As confidence springs up in the mind, it breaks through the veil of the 5 hindrances, and the mind becomes clear, serene, and undisturbed. Thus, confidence clarifies. Inspiration is the mark when the meditator, perceiving how the minds of others have been set free, aspires to the attainment of what he has not yet reached, to the experience of what he has not yet felt, and the realization of what he has not yet understood. For this was said by the Blessed One. By confidence he crosses over the flood. By vigilance the sea of life. By steadfastness all grief he stills. By wisdom he is purified. What, venerable sir, is the characteristic mark of energy? Reinforcing, O king, so that those good qualities which it supports do not fall away. Give me an illustration. Just as, O king, when his army has been broken up by a larger one, the king would call to mind every possible ally to reinforce his army and break up the large army. Thus reinforcing is the mark of energy. For this was said by the Blessed One. The energetic noble disciple, O monks, puts away unwholesomeness and cultivates good, shuns the blameworthy and develops the blameless, and thus does he keep his mind pure. What, Nagasena, is the characteristic mark of mindfulness? Noting and keeping in mind. As mindfulness springs up in the mind of the recluse, he repeatedly notes the wholesome and unwholesome, blameless and blameworthy, insignificant and important, dark and light qualities, and those that resemble them, thinking, these are the 4 foundations of mindfulness, these the 4 right efforts, these the 4 bases of success, these the 5 controlling faculties, these the 5 moral powers, these the 7 factors of enlightenment, these are the 8 factors of the noble path. This is serenity, this insight, this vision, and this freedom. Thus does he cultivate those qualities that are desirable in shun, those that should be avoided. Give me an illustration. It is like a king's treasurer who reminds his master of the size of the army and the amount of wealth in his treasury. How is keeping in mind a mark of mindfulness? As mindfulness springs up in the mind, he searches out the categories of good qualities and their opposites, thinking, Such and such qualities are beneficial and such are harmful. Thus does he make what is unwholesome in himself disappear and maintain what is good. Give me an illustration. It is like the prime minister of the king who advises him on the right course of action. And this was said by the Blessed One. Mindfulness, I declare, O monks, is helpful everywhere. What, Nagasena, is the characteristic mark of concentration? Leading, O king, for all good qualities have concentration as their chief. They incline to it, lead up towards it. Give me an illustration. As the rafters of a house incline and lead up to the ridgepole, and the ridgepole is the highest point of the roof, so too all good qualities incline and lead up to concentration. And this was said by the Blessed One. Monks, develop concentration. A monk who is concentrated sees things as they really are. What, Nagasena, is the characteristic mark of wisdom? Illuminating, king. When wisdom springs up in the mind, it dispels the darkness of ignorance, causes the radiance of vision to arise, makes the light of knowledge shine forth, and makes the noble truths plain. Thus does the meditator perceive with the clearest wisdom the impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and soullessness of all formations. Give me an illustration. It is like a lamp, king, which in a dark room would illuminate it and make the objects there plainly visible. These qualities that are so different, Nagasena, do they bring about one and the same result? They do. The destruction of the defilements of the mind, just as the various parts of an army such as elephants, cavalry, war chariots, and archers bring about one result, the conquest of the opposing army. Well put, Nagasena, you are clever in reply. He who is reborn, Nagasena, is he the same person or another? Neither the same nor another. Give me an illustration. In the case of a pot of milk that turns first to curds, then to butter, then to ghee, it would not be right to say that the ghee, butter, and curds were the same as the milk, but they have come from that, so neither would it be right to say that they are something else. Is the man who will not be reborn aware of the fact? Yes, king. How does he know it? By the cessation of all that is cause or condition of rebirth. As a farmer who does not plow or sow or reap would know that his granary is not getting filled up. In one, Nagasena, in whom knowledge arises, does wisdom, Pachna, also arise? Yes, king. Is knowledge the same as wisdom? Yes, king. Then would he with his knowledge and wisdom be in ignorance about anything? He would still be in ignorance about the things he had not yet learned, but regarding what had been accomplished by wisdom, that is the perception of impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and soullessness, he would not be ignorant. Then what would have happened to his delusions on those points? From the moment when knowledge arises, delusion passes away, as when the light comes, darkness disappears. But then what has become of his wisdom? When wisdom has accomplished its task, then it disappears, but his understanding of impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and soullessness does not disappear. Give me an illustration. As a man who wants to write a letter at night would have a lamp lit and then write the letter, then he would put out the lamp, but though the lamp had been put out, the letter would remain. Does he who will not be reborn feel any painful feeling? He may feel physical pain, king, but not mental pain. If he feels painful feelings, then why doesn't he just die and attain the extinction of grasping and put an end to suffering? The arahant has no fondness for or aversion to life. He does not shake down the unripe fruit but awaits the time of its maturity. For this was said by Venerable Sariputta, the Buddha's chief disciple. It is not death, nor life I cherish. As the hireling his wage, so I bide my time. It is not death nor life I long for, mindful and clearly comprehending, I bide my time. Is a pleasant feeling wholesome, unwholesome, or neutral? It may be any one of the three. But surely, Venerable Sir, if wholesome conditions are not painful, and painful ones are not wholesome, then there can be no wholesome condition that is at the same time painful. What do you think, King? If a man were to hold in one hand a hot iron ball and in the other a ball of ice, would they both hurt him? Indeed they would. Then your hypothesis must be wrong. If they are not both hot but the heat hurts, and they are not both cold but the cold hurts, then the pain does not come from the heat or the cold. I'm not able to argue with you. Please explain the matter. Then the elder taught the king the Abhidhamma. There are 6 pleasures connected with the world and 6 of renunciation, 6 worldly sorrows and 6 of renunciation, and 6 neutral feelings in each case, altogether 36. Then there are 36 feelings in the past, present, and future, so altogether there are 108 feelings. What is it, Nagasena, that is reborn? Mind and matter. Is it this very mind and matter that is reborn? No, it is not. But by this mind and matter deeds are done, and because of those deeds, another mind and matter is reborn. But that mind and matter is not, thereby released from the results of its previous deeds. Give me an illustration. It is like a fire that a man might kindle, and, having warmed himself, he might leave it burning and go away. Then, if that fire were to set light to another man's field, and the owner were to seize him and accuse him before the king, and he were to say, "Your Majesty, I did not set this man's field on fire. The fire that I left burning was different to that which burnt his field. I am not guilty. Would he deserve punishment?" Indeed, yes, because whatever he might say, the latter fire resulted from the former one. Just so, O king, by this mind and matter deeds are done, and because of those deeds another mind and matter is reborn. But that mind and matter is not thereby released from the results of its previous deeds. Will you, Nagasena, be reborn? What is the use of asking that question again? Have I not already told you that if I die with attachment in my mind, I shall be reborn? If not, I shall not. You were explaining just now about mind and matter. Therein, what is mind and what is matter? Whatever is gross is materiality. Whatever is subtle and mind or mental states is mentality. Why are they not born separately? These conditions are related like the yolk of an egg and its shell. They always arise together, and thus they have been related through time immemorial. Nagasena, when you say time immemorial, what does time mean? Is there any such thing? Time means past, present, and future. There are some for whom time exists and some for whom it doesn't. Where there are beings who will be reborn, for them time exists. Where there are beings who will not be reborn, for them time does not exist. Well put, Nagasena. You are clever in reply. What is the root, Nagasena, of past, present, and future time? Ignorance. By ignorance are conditioned formations. By formations, relinking consciousness. By consciousness, mind and matter. By mind and matter, the 6 sense bases. By the 6 sense bases, contact. By contact, feeling. By feeling, craving. By craving, attachment. By attachment, becoming. By becoming, birth. By birth are conditioned old age, death, grief, lamentation, pain, sorrow, and despair. You say that the ultimate beginning of things is not apparent. Give me an illustration. The Blessed One said, by reason of the sense bases and the sense objects there arises contact. By reason of contact, feeling. By reason of feeling, craving. And by reason of craving, action, kama. Then, from action, sense bases are once more produced. Now, could there be any end to this series? No. Just so, O king, the ultimate beginning of things cannot be comprehended. Is the ultimate beginning of everything unknown? Partly so, and partly not. Then which is so, and which not? Whatever condition preceded this birth, that is to us as if it had not been. In reference to that, the ultimate beginning is not known. However, that which has not been comes into existence, and as soon as it has arisen, it disappears again. With reference to that, the ultimate beginning can be known. Are there any formations that are produced? Certainly, O king. Where there is an eye and also forms, there is sight. Where there is sight, there is contact. Where there is contact, there is feeling. Where there is feeling, there is craving. Where there is craving, there is attachment. Where there is attachment, there is becoming. Where there is becoming, there is birth, old age, death, grief, lamentation, pain, sorrow, and despair. However, where the eye and forms are not, sight is not, contact is not, feeling is not, craving is not, attachment is not, becoming is not. And where there is no becoming, there is no birth, old age, death, grief, pain, sorrow, or despair. Are there any formations that are not produced? There are not, O king, for it is just by a process of becoming that they are produced. Give me an illustration. Was this house where you are sitting produced by a process of becoming? There is nothing here that was not. This wood was in the forest, and this clay was in the ground, and it was through the effort of men and women that this house came to exist. Just so, O king, there are no formations that are not produced. Is there, Nagasena, such a thing as the one who knows, Vedago? What is this thing? The living principle within that sees, hears, tastes, smells, feels, and discerns things, just as we, sitting here, can look out of any window we wish to. If, O king, the living principle within can see, hear, taste, smell, and feel things like you say, can it not also see forms through the ear and so on? No, venerable sir. Then, O king, the living principle within cannot make use of whichever sense it pleases, as you suggested. It is, O king, by reason of the eye and forms that sight and those other conditions arise, namely, contact, feeling, perception, intention, one-pointedness, vitality, and attention. Each arises simultaneously with its cause, and herein the one who knows cannot be found. Does mind consciousness arise wherever I consciousness arises? Yes, O king, where the one is there, the other is. Which arises first? First I consciousness, then mind consciousness. Does I consciousness issue a command to mind consciousness or vice versa? No, there is no communication between them. Then why is it, Nagasena, that mind consciousness arises wherever there is I consciousness? Because, O king, there is a tendency, an opening, a habit, and an association. Give me an illustration. If a king's border town had a strong wall and only one gateway and a man wanted to leave the town, which way would he go? Through the gateway. And if another man left, which way would he go? Through the same gateway. But does the first man issue a command to the second saying, "Go out the same way as I do"? Or does the second man tell the first, "I will go out the same way as you do"? No, venerable sir, there is no communication between them. In the same way, mind consciousness arises wherever there is I consciousness, but there is no communication between them. Where there is mind consciousness, Nagasena, is there always contact and feeling? Yes, where there is mind consciousness, there is contact and feeling, and also perception, intention, initial application, and sustained application. What is the characteristic mark of contact? Touching. Give me an illustration. As when two rams butt together, the eye is like one ram, visible object is like the other, and the butting together of the two is contact. What is the characteristic mark of feeling? The being experienced, O king, and enjoyed. Give me an illustration. As a man who has been of service to a king and has been granted an official post, afterwards enjoys the benefits of being in office. What is the characteristic mark of perception? Recognizing king of blueness, yellowness, or redness. Give me an illustration. It is as the king's treasurer recognizes the king's goods on seeing their color and shape. What is the characteristic mark of intention? Conceiving, O king, and preparing. Give me an illustration. As a man having prepared poison and having drunk, it would suffer pain. So one having thought out some evil deed and having done it afterwards has to suffer in hell. What is the characteristic mark of consciousness? Knowing, O king. Give me an illustration. As a watchman in the city square would know someone was coming, whichever direction he came from. So, when a man sees an object, hears a sound, smells an odor, tastes a savor, feels a touch or knows an idea, it is by consciousness that he knows it. What is the characteristic mark of initial application? Fixing, O king. Give me an illustration. As a carpenter fixes an accurately cut tenon into a mortise, thus fixing is the characteristic of initial application. What is the characteristic mark of sustained application? Examining again and again. Give me an illustration. Like the striking of a gong is initial application, like the reverberation is sustained application. Is it possible to separate these conditions, saying, this is contact, this feeling, this perception, this intention, this consciousness, this initial application, and this sustained application? No, great king, this cannot be done. If one were to prepare a soup containing curds, salt, ginger, cumin seeds, and pepper, one could not take out the flavor of the curds and show it saying, this is the flavor of the curds, or take out the flavor of the salt and say, this is the flavor of the salt, yet each flavor would be distinctly present by its characteristic sign. Then the elder said, is salt, O king, recognizable by the eye? Yes, your reverence it is. Be careful, O king, what you say. Then it is recognizable by the tongue. Yes, that is right. But, Nagasena, is it only by the tongue that every kind of salt is recognizable? Yes, every kind. Then why do bullocks bring whole cartloads of it? It is impossible to bring salt by itself. For example, salt also has mass, but it is impossible to weigh salt. One can only weigh the mass. You are dexterous, Nagasena, in argument. What is the root? Are the 5 sense bases produced from various kammas, or all from one? From various kammas, king. Give me an illustration. If you were to sow 5 kinds of seeds in a field, the produce would be of 5 kinds. Why is it, Nagasena, that all men are not alike? Some are short-lived and some long-lived, some sickly and some healthy, some ugly and some handsome, some powerful and some powerless, some poor and some rich, some low-born and some noble, some foolish and some wise. Why is it that all plants are not alike? Because they come from different seeds. Just so, O king, it is because of the variety of kammas that beings are not all the same. For this was said by the Blessed One, all beings have kamma as their own property, are heirs to it, born from it, are relatives of their kamma, and have kamma as their refuge. Whatever kamma they do divides them into high and low states. You said that your going forth was so that this suffering might be extinguished and no further suffering arise. Is it brought about by previous effort, or to be striven after now, in the present? Effort now is concerned with what remains to be done. Former effort has accomplished what it had to do. Give me an illustration. Is it when the enemy is arrayed against you that you set to work to have a moat dug, a rampart raised, a watchtower built, a stronghold constructed and stores collected? Certainly not, your reverence. Just so, effort now is concerned with what remains to be done. Former effort has accomplished what it had to do. You say that the fire of purgatory would instantly destroy a boulder the size of a house. But you also say that whatever beings are reborn in hell, though they burn for hundreds of thousands of years, they are not destroyed. How can I believe this? Although the food, bones, and even stones eaten by various female beings are destroyed inside their abdomens, yet their embryos are not destroyed. Just so those beings in hell avoid destruction by the influence of their kamma. You say that the world rests on water, the water on air, and the air on space. This, too, I cannot believe. Then the elder showed the king water in a regulation water filter supported by atmospheric pressure, and the king was convinced. Is cessation Nibbana? Yes, O king. All foolish worldlings take pleasure in the senses and their objects. They find delight in them and cling to them. Hence they are carried down by the flood of passion, and are not released from birth and suffering. However, the wise disciple of the noble ones does not delight in those things. So craving ceases in him. Thence attachment ceases, becoming ceases, birth ceases, old age, death, grief, lamentation, pain, sorrow, and despair cease to exist. Thus it is that cessation is Nibbana. Does everyone attain Nibbana? Not all, O king, but whoever conducts himself rightly, understands what should be understood, perceives what should be perceived, abandons what should be abandoned, develops what should be developed, and realizes what should be realized, he attains Nibbana. Can one who has not attained Nibbana know that it is blissful? Yes, indeed, O king, as those who have not had their hands and feet cut off can know how painful a condition it is by the cries of those who have. So can those who have not attained Nibbana know it is blissful by hearing the joyful words of those who have attained it. Have you or your teachers seen the Buddha? No, great king. Then Nagasena, there is no Buddha. Have you or your father seen the river Uha in the Himalayas? No, venerable sir. Then would it be right to say there is no river Uha? You are dexterous, Nagasena, in reply. Is the Buddha incomparable? Yes, he is. But how can you know if you have never seen him? Just as those who have never seen the ocean can know how great it is because the 5 great rivers flow into it, but thereby it does not rise. So do I know that the Buddha is incomparable when I think of those great teachers, whom I have seen, who are only his disciples. How can others know that the Buddha is incomparable? Long ago there was a master of writing named Thera. How can people know about him? By his writing. Just so, O king, whosoever sees the Dhamma taught by Blessed One can know that he is incomparable. Have you, Nagasena, seen what the truth is? We disciples, O king, have to conduct ourselves according to the rules laid down by the Buddha. Can there be any rebirth where there is no transmigration? Yes, there can. Just as a man can light one oil lamp from another, but nothing moves from one lamp to the other. Or as a pupil can learn a verse by heart from a teacher, but the verse does not transmigrate from teacher to pupil. Then Milinda asked again, is there such a thing as the one who knows, Vedagu? Not in the ultimate sense. Is there any being who transmigrates from this body to another? No, there is not. If so, would there not be an escape from the result of evil deeds? Yes, there would be an escape if they were not to be reborn, but there would not be if they were to be reborn. This mind and body process commits deeds either pure or impure, and because of that, another mind and body process is reborn. Therefore, this mind and body is not free from its evil deeds. Give me an illustration. If a thief were to steal another man's mangoes, would he deserve punishment? Indeed, he would. But the mangoes he stole were not those that the owner had planted. Why should he deserve punishment? Because those that he stole resulted from the others. Just so, O king, this mind and body process commits deeds either pure or impure, and because of that, another mind and body process is reborn. Therefore, this mind and body is not free from its evil deeds. When deeds are committed by one mind and body process, where do they remain? The deeds follow them, O king, like a shadow that never leaves. However, one cannot point them out saying, those deeds are here or there, just as the fruits of a tree cannot be pointed out before they are produced. Would he who is about to be reborn know it? Yes, he would, just as a farmer who puts seed into the ground, seeing it rain well, would know that a crop will be produced. Is there such a person as the Buddha? Yes. can he be pointed out as being here or there. The Blessed One has passed away and nothing remains to form another individual. He cannot be pointed out as being here or there, just as the flame of a fire that has gone out cannot be pointed out as being here or there. Yet his historical existence can be known by pointing out the body of the doctrine preached by him. Is the body, Nagasena, dear to you recluses? No, great king. Then why do you nourish it and lavish attention upon it? We nourish it and care for it as you would care for a wound, not because the wound was dear to you, but just so the flesh may grow again. For this was said by the Blessed One. This filthy body stinks outright like ordure, like a privy's sight. This body men that have insight condemn is object of a fool's delight. A tumor where 9 holes abide, wrapped in a coat of clammy hide and trickling filth on every side, polluting the air with stenches far and wide. If it perchance should come about that what is inside it came out, surely a man would need a knout with which to put the dogs and crows to rout. If the Buddha was omniscient, why did he lay down the rules for the order only when the occasion arose? He laid down the rules only when the need arose, as a skilled doctor only prescribes medicine when the need arises, although he knows all the medicines in advance of a disease arising. If the Buddha was endowed with the 32 marks of a great man, why were his parents not also so endowed? As a lotus that is born in the mud and comes to perfection in the water does not resemble them, so the Buddha was unlike his parents. Was the Buddha a Brahmacharin, a celibate? Yes, he was. Then he was a follower of Brahma. Although an elephant's sound is like a heron's, he is not a follower of herons. Tell me, great king, is Brahma one with intelligence? Buddhi? Yes. Then surely he is a follower of the Buddha. Is ordination a good thing? Yes, it is. But did the Buddha obtain it or not? Great king, when the Buddha attained omniscience at the foot of the Bodhi tree, that was for him an ordination. There was no conferring of ordination upon him by others in the way that he has laid down for his disciples. To whom are tears a cure? To the man who weeps at the death of his mother, or to him who weeps due to affection for the truth? The tears of the first, O king, are stained and hot with passion, but the tears of the second are stainless and cool. There is a cure in coolness and calm, but in heat and passion there can be no cure. What is the distinction between one who is full of passion and one who is devoid of passion? The one is enslaved, O king, and the other is not enslaved. What does that mean? One is in want, but the other is not. But both of them like good food, neither likes bad food. The man who is passionate, O king, eats his food experiencing both the taste and the passion for the taste, but the man without passion experiences only the taste and not the passion arising therefrom. Where does wisdom dwell? Nowhere, O king. Then there is no wisdom. Where does the wind dwell? Nowhere. Then there is no wind. You are dexterous, Nagasena, in reply. What is meant by the round of rebirths, samsara? Whoever is born here, dies here, and is born elsewhere. Having been born there, they die and are born somewhere else. By what do we remember what was done long ago? By memory, sati. Is it not by mind, sita, that we recollect? Do you, O king, recollect any business that you have done and then forgotten? Yes. Were you then without a mind? No, but my memory failed me. Then why do you say that it is by mind that we recollect? Does memory always arise subjectively, or is it stirred up by suggestion from outside? Both, O king. But doesn't that amount to all memory being subjective in origin? If, O king, there were no imparted memory, then artisans would have no need of practice or schooling, and teachers would be useless. But the contrary is the case. In how many ways, Nagasena, does memory spring up? In 17 ways, king. That is to say, by personal experience, as when one like Ananda can recollect his previous lives, without special development, by outward aid, as when others remind one who is forgetful. By the greatness of some occasion, as when a king remembers his coronation, or as one remembers attaining the stage of a stream winner. By the impression made by benefit, as when one remembers that which gave him pleasure. By the impression made by detriment, as when one remembers that which gave him pain. By similarity of appearance, as one remembers one's mother or father or brother or sister on seeing someone like them. By dissimilarity of appearance, as one remembers someone on seeing one unlike them. By the knowledge of speech, as when one is reminded by others. By a sign, as when one recognizes a draft bullock by seeing a brand mark. By effort to recollect, as when one is urged again and again. By knowledge of spelling, as one who knows how to write, remembers that such a letter follows another. By arithmetic, as when accountants do large sums by their skill with figures. By learning by heart, as reciters of scriptures recollect by their skill in reciting. By meditation, as when a monk recalls his previous lives. By reference to a book, as when kings call to mind a regulation made previously by reference to a book. By a pledge, as when a man recollects by the sight of goods, deposited the circumstances under which they were pledged, or by association, as when on seeing or hearing something one remembers other things associated with it. You say that a man who has lived an evil life for 100 years can, by thinking of the Buddha at the moment of his death, be reborn among the gods, and that a good man can, by one bad deed, be born in hell. These two things I do not believe. What do you think, King? Would a tiny stone float on water without a boat? No. But even a cartload of stones would float in a boat. So you should think of good deeds as a boat. Do you monks strive after the removal of past, present, and future suffering? No. We strive so that this suffering should cease and no other suffering should arise. But is there now, Nagasena, such a thing as future suffering? No. Then you are extremely clever to strive after the removal of it. Have rival kings ever risen up to oppose you, King? Yes, they have. Was it only then that you made preparations for battle? Not at all. All that had been done beforehand in order to ward off future danger. But is there now, O King, such a thing as future danger? No, venerable sir. Then you are extremely clever to strive after the removal of it. Well answered, Nagasena. You are dexterous in reply. How far is it to the Brahma realm? Very far, King. It would take a rock 4 months to reach the earth from the Brahma realm, even though it fell 48,000 leagues each day. So how can a monk travel there so quickly even by supernormal power? Where were you born, O King? There is an island called Alessandra. I was born there. How far is it from here? About 200 leagues. Do you recall any business you did there? Yes, I do. So quickly you have gone 200 leagues. Just so, the monk can reach the Brahma realm at once by supernormal power. The king asked, if one man were to die and be reborn in the Brahma realm, and at the same moment another man were to die and be reborn in Kashmir, which man would arrive first? How far is your hometown from here? 200 leagues. And how far is Kashmir? 12 leagues. Which of them did you recall more quickly? Both the same, venerable sir. Just so, O King, those men who died at the same moment would be reborn at the same moment. How many factors of enlightenment are there? 7, O King. By how many factors does one awaken to the truth? By 1, investigation of truth, for nothing can be understood without that. Then why is it said that there are 7? Could the sword that is in your scabbard cut anything if it was not taken up in the hand? No, venerable sir. Just so, O King. Without the other factors of enlightenment, investigation of truth could not awaken to the truth. Which is the greater, merit or demerit? Merit, O King. One who does wrong feels remorse and realizes his mistake, thereby demerit does not increase. However, one who does merit feels no remorse, and gladness and joy arise, and so, rejoicing, he will be at ease. Being relaxed, he will feel contented. Being content, his mind will be easily concentrated. Being concentrated, he will see things as they really are. In that way, merit increases, so merit is much greater. Demerit is relatively insignificant. Which is the greater demerit, conscious or unconscious wrongdoing? Unconscious wrongdoing, O king. Then we should doubly punish those who do wrong unconsciously. What do you think, O king? Would a man be more seriously burned if he seized a red-hot iron ball not knowing it was hot than he would be if he knew? He would be burned more severely if he didn't know it was hot. Just so, O king, it is the same with the man who does wrong unconsciously. Is there anyone who can physically go to the Brahma realm or to another continent? Yes, O king, there is. As easily as you can jump a short distance by determining in your mind, I will land there. So too, one who has developed absorption, jhana, can go to the Brahma realm. Are there bones 100 leagues long? Yes, there are fish in the ocean 500 leagues long, about 3,500 miles, who have such bones. Is it possible to suppress the respiration? Yes, it is. As it is possible to stop the snoring of one of undeveloped mind by bending his body, so it is possible for one of well-developed mind to suppress the respiration. Why is the ocean so called? Because it is a uniform mixture of salt and water. Why is the ocean all of one taste? Because it has stood for so long. Is it possible to dissect even the most subtle thing? Yes, O king, wisdom is able to dissect every subtle thing. What is meant by every subtle thing? Dhamma is everything subtle. However, not all Dhammas are subtle, some are coarse. Subtle and coarse are only concepts. Whatever is divisible can be divided by wisdom. There is nothing else that can dissect wisdom. These three, Nagasena, consciousness, wisdom, and the soul, are they different in essence or only in name? Knowing, O king, is the mark of consciousness, and discrimination is the mark of wisdom. A soul cannot be found. The elder said, a hard thing has been done by the Blessed One. The distinguishing of all those mental conditions that depend on an organ of sense, showing such and such is contact, such is feeling, such is perception, such is intention, and such is the mind, citta. Give me an illustration. If a man were to take a handful of water from the ocean and tasting it could say, this water is from the Ganga, this from the Yamuna, this from the Achirawati, this from the Sarabu, and this from the Mahi. More difficult than this is the distinguishing of those mental states that accompany any one of the senses. Since it was midnight, the king made offerings to Nagasena, and the king said, like a lion in a golden cage longs only for freedom, so do I long for the monk's life, but I would not live long. So many are my enemies. Then Nagasena, having solved the questions put by King Milinda, arose from his seat and returned to the hermitage. Not long after Nagasena had gone, King Milinda reflected on the questions and answers and concluded, everything was rightly asked by me, and everything was properly answered by Nagasena. Back at his hermitage, Nagasena reflected and concluded in a similar manner. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights on Buddhist philosophy and timeless wisdom. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep growing.